Drive happy.
And that's a rate to celebrate.
Here's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Hurricane Floyd wreaks havoc as it continues to head in a north-northeast direction today. Details on who is affected just ahead. Hello.
Hopefully we're at the climax of Hurricane Floyd. Still unrelenting rain here in Solomon's Island, 50 miles southeast of Washington, D.C. on the Chesapeake. A full report just ahead on Weather Center.
Hello and welcome to Weather Center, sponsored by 1010-220. I'm Lisa Moser. Thanks for joining us. The impact from Hurricane Floyd is our big story today. Flooded streets are causing all kinds of problems in Delaware. This city in Wilmington took on more than it could handle when it tried to make it through flooding in the area. Fortunately, a tow truck came to the rescue. If you have to drive in the heavy rain throughout the day today in this vicinity, please be very cautious. Many streets are still flooded at this hour. Now for more details on Hurricane Floyd, let's go to Bruce Edwards with the latest. Bruce?
Thanks very much, Lisa. Good morning, everyone. Lisa just showed the video from Wilmington, North Carolina. Well, the city of Wilmington has announced that curfews will remain in effect for all beach communities until further notice due to the downed power lines and impassable roads. The curfew for all other areas of New Hanover County and the city of Wilmington will be lifted as of noon Thursday. That's noon today, so in about 30 minutes or so. So again, Wilmington, North Carolina, reminder that curfews remain in effect for all their beach communities until further notice, because they still have power lines down, impassable roads, and it's a dangerous situation. Well, while things will gradually get better across the southeast Atlantic seaboard, across the northeast Atlantic coast, again, things are going to get worse before they get better. The state of New York is preparing for Floyd's arrival. New York City, for example, has opened 20 shelters. Power companies in New York City and Long Island are telling people to expect power outages as that storm rips through the region. Long Island is expected to bear the brunt of the storm, while Suffolk County beaches are closed. And feeling the impact also, of course, even before the New York City and the Long Island region, will be the state of New Jersey. And a state of emergency is now in effect. Governor Christie Whitman has ordered schools throughout the state closed today as a precaution. Extra power crews are on standby to respond to the anticipated power outages, which will likely occur with the strong winds and rain. Now let's give you the latest information on Hurricane Floyd. Now this is as of 11 a.m. Eastern Time, the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. Floyd was centered at 36.8 degrees north, 76 degrees west, right near Virginia Beach, Virginia. Top sustained winds have dropped off now as it's over land, 80 miles per hour. It is still a hurricane, however, and it continues to move in a rapid north-northeast direction at 24 miles an hour, and the central pressure is continuing to come up. It's now at 967 millibars. However, there still remains hurricane warnings in effect from Cape Hatteras, North Carolina to Manasquan Inlet, and then from Moriches Inlet, New York, up to Plymouth, Massachusetts. Now, south of Cape Hatteras, all the warnings have been canceled. Now, tropical storm warnings remain in for the inland bays and waterways. Northern Chesapeake Bay under a tropical storm warning. Delaware Bay, Manasquan Inlet, as well as Moriches Inlet and Long Island Sound under a tropical storm warning. And from Plymouth, Mass, northbound to the Merrimack River, that's where we still have tropical storm warnings presently in effect. Here's a look at the satellite picture, and once again you can see with the enhancement the heaviest weather is right near the center of the hurricane, and once again that's right on Virginia Beach, Virginia at the present time as it continues to work its way to the north-northeast. We look at the radar and it indicates the colors of yellow with some of the more intense rainfall amounts, and as this goes into motion you can see that right here around the Norfolk, Newport News, Tidewater area, but we're also seeing again a big surge of heavy rain up through Maryland, Delaware, as well as on up into the Jersey shoreline right now. And speaking of Maryland, we have Bill Keneally in Solomons Island, Maryland, about 50 miles south of the nation's capital, getting battered. Good morning, Bill. What's the latest?
All right, Bruce, the latest is things have not changed yet. The only thing changing is our wind. It had been out of the northeast and now it's shifting more around to the north and eventually the northwest, and that holds a lot of promise for getting rid of this. This rainfall at the rate of 1 inch per hour continues to pound the area. Bruce, you talked about the excessive rainfall in the Tidewater. We cannot be far behind here. We're like, maybe 80 to 100 miles north of there, but I would guess we're going to have close to a foot of rain when this thing is all said and done. So getting around here is not easy. Take a look at some of the video we shot a little earlier today. Take you back looking just to the west of where we are, out over the Highway 4 bridge, a fairly high span, as you can see, running a good 80 to 100 feet off of the Patuxent River. That river flows into the Chesapeake, and then we have some shots of docks here facing back easterly, back towards the open water of the Chesapeake. And things are a little rockier now than they were when we shot the video. As we come back to a real-time image, you can see these docks are seeing some fairly high waves rocking them now. See a little sea-dew out there too. Hopefully it's going to stand the test of time. But Bruce, hopefully the back edge is coming at us relatively quickly. It's hard to believe. I know it sounds sacrilegious, but we needed so much rain until now. Now we don't need any more rain, so that's it. Thank you. We can wave the white flag and hopefully be on our merry way later on today.
Well, Bill, what's the old saying? Be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. And that's sort of the case here. Okay.
Sure, you got it, bud.
All righty, thank you. Bill Keneally live at Solomons Island, Maryland, south of the nation's capital with that update. Dr. Steve Lyons, of course, has been hard at work tracking Floyd since its inception, and now that it's made landfall and continues to wreak havoc, he's got the latest on what we might expect from Floyd as it winds its way up the eastern seaboard. Dr. Lyons?
Well, Bruce, it continues to accelerate to the northeast, and it's right along the coast. Almost all of the hurricane force winds are offshore, which is very good news for any damage potential inland. If there's going to be any hurricane force winds, they're going to be in gusts associated with some thunderstorm activity. As you saw, the circulation center is roughly there, and it's going to track right up the east coast and then come out more toward the northeast. Later tonight, it's going to be off the coast of New Jersey. By tomorrow, it's going to be off of Cape Cod, so it's moving very quickly, and it'll continue to move quickly off to the northeast and then be into the Canadian Maritimes as probably an extratropical system. Now notice this edge back here, that edge of purple there is basically the area where the heavier rainfall stops. So in the Washington area, it looks like you're going to have your rainfall diminish here within the next 12 hours and possibly sooner than that, although you'll still continue to have some brisk winds behind it. Tropical storm force winds are rather widespread, particularly in the coastal zone, but also inland a little bit. Here's the visible satellite image, and you can see the center moving up into here, right over Norfolk. It's now passing Norfolk the last hour and a half or so, so keep monitoring that very carefully. Now the swath that you can see here, later tonight, off the New Jersey coast, Friday morning, way up here, and you can see here that we don't expect it to turn inland, so all of the stronger winds that are going to remain in this Category 1 hurricane will remain offshore, not onshore. And we may see some hurricane force gusts at the coast, but that's about it. So the wind damage potential is pretty much gone. We're in good shape there, and you can see the gusts here showing up, and here in Virginia, gusts as well. Occasionally you see gusts to 47 miles per hour. That's enough to take down a power line or two if you're lucky, but relative to damage potential for structures, it's really not going to do it. So we're improving every minute. Now let's get back to the studio with Bruce.
All All righty, thank you, Dr. Steve Lyons, our hurricane expert at our experts desk. A reminder that you can pick up information you need to know about Floyd or any of the weather around the nation anytime on the internet at weather.com. And if you have a report on how you were faring with Floyd and want to get it to us here at the Weather Channel, you can email us at storm@weather.com. Now let's go back and talk about the rest of the nation's weather, and with the details, back to the studio and Lisa Moser.
Bruce, we're doing pretty good across much of the country at this hour, but this afternoon we are expecting things to get going again. We may see some isolated thunderstorms around Prescott, Flagstaff, Arizona, Albuquerque, a couple of upper-level features that once we start seeing the heating of the day interact with that upper-level feature, we should see some thunderstorms putting out some very heavy rain, maybe even some large hail. Yesterday we were looking at a diameter around 1 inch, so it could be a dangerous situation, but we are talking about isolated thunderstorms out here. They could be reaching as far east as, say, the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. Windy conditions around Floyd. Well, that northerly wind is really cooling things off, even in areas where we're not really seeing very much in the way of rainfall. We are seeing some rain showers out around the Kansas area and also Oklahoma and northern Texas. This is light for the most part. Again, this afternoon, that's when we're likely to see the thunderstorms begin to fire up. Looking at those temperatures right now in Cleveland, it's 63 degrees. In Chicago, only 59. Of course, the cooler air has been associated with the troughing out towards the west and in the higher elevations, where at this hour we're still looking at lots of 40s and 50s. We had some record low temperatures this morning. Missouri, St. Joseph, we got down to 38 degrees. And in Austin, Texas, we haven't seen weather this mild in quite a while. 54 degrees, a record low temperature this morning. Taking a look closely at some of the temperatures, of course, a lot of rain is keeping the temperatures cool in association with Floyd. Right now in D.C., 66 degrees. Philadelphia also at this hour, 66 degrees. We're looking at 62 in Buffalo. Breezy here, but we're seeing sunshine. Lots of sunshine across Tennessee, but 69 at this hour. That's a little mild. Out towards Chicago, mild temperatures 64 in Indianapolis. Minneapolis looking at 58 at this hour. Seattle, 54 under mostly sunny skies. And San Francisco, 55. We'll be back. More details on how your travel plans are going to be affected with Floyd continuing to cause problems. We'll be back. Travel Wise is next.